Yo, what is up, everybody? This is Kyle and Mike from the Fantasy Phenom. We are back to recap, what is it, Saturdays? How many games were there, damn it? 9? 10?
9? Question mark.
Question mark, hashtag. And then we have, 7 games in total tomorrow? 2 early games, 5 main games. As you can tell, the chat is already popping tonight. We're contemplating some content for the new website here. Brad, shout out.
Forever trying to improve our site.
So shout out to Brad. We're looking at Brad's post of the day, Brad's question or questions of the day. Maybe get him his own video blog. So we're just brainstorming. You know, obviously some featured content on the site would be invaluable like that.
Yeah, I'm picturing some incredible merchandise as well. I don't know. I feel like you can't go wrong with a Brad bobblehead.
Brad, if you're watching, let us know how you feel about having your own bobblehead.
I always want to know how Brad feels about life in general. It is 8 games, by the way.
Oh, 8 games, sorry. So, Brad, what we'll do is probably give us your best 2 questions, and then we'll vote on them and put them on the poll, or put them on the website.
He's entertaining, man.
Brad, you're definitely the life of the group. I hope you know that. Without you, that group is nothing. So if you guys, if nothing else on this show, if you need to join the Facebook group just for Brad, I'm telling you.
We've got some interesting characters in the Facebook group, and everybody's starting to become pretty close knit too.
Brad's even giving out his number now, so. If you guys need to contact Brad, he's got his number on there for you. All right, so we're gonna break it down by slate tonight. We got the 2 early games, which, by the way, if you haven't already locked in your at least a spot in the early slate, you're gonna run out of time because they're already leaving. One of the tournaments already closed.
Yeah, I just went in there just to make a dummy lineup and realized that these spots are closing quick, so might as well do that now. But yeah, so on DraftKings, there's only 2 slates. There's no all day slate. There's either this early 2 games, or then the main is the 6 late games. So there's no all day slate tomorrow.
See, on the preferred platform, Fan Duel, we have an all day, early, and main.
Just so you guys can sweat the late injury news.
Yeah, exactly. Like Derek Favors.
Yeah, just like Derek Favors.
Speaking of that,
shout out to those beat writers for mentioning nothing of that to us after shoot around today.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I would have the projections and my lineups up as usual, but as you guys all know, I am working on DraftKings projections, and I've been working on those up until this show. They are still going. Not quite done yet. I can guarantee you guys I will have the projections out to you tonight. I may not have the player pricing and the positioning. I got to figure out how I'm going to integrate that and streamline it into the sheets, because it's going to be a pain in the ass to go in and manually do that every night. I know you can, obviously I can download the sheets and whatnot, but I have to adjust it based on and copy it over, things like that. So bear with me. At the very least, I can get you their projection. And again, with that said, tread with caution. I don't know. I have absolutely zero history with how accurate these projections are, by the way. I'm using a very similar formula. However, I'm tweaking it to DraftKings settings. So I would imagine it would project relatively well, but can't guarantee it. So we're gonna play with that and tweak it. I'm still working on a live site, so I have a site that'll give me DraftKings pricing, DraftKings scores for each player. But if anyone knows of a site that'll give me FanDuel on a nightly basis, That would be awesome. I have the basketball monster for DraftKings, and that is awesome. And I can integrate that into Excel because it's DraftKings by default when you go on their page. However, the URL doesn't change when you click over to FanDuel, and so there's no way for me to select FanDuel scores when I integrate it into Excel as a live updating sheet. So it's not going to work for what I need. So if you guys know of anything about that, let me know. Someone just asked, yes, live scoring. Someone asked, it does not affect the DVP. Yes, it will. This has always been FanDuel DVP. Now, if we're being in plain English, a matchup is a matchup, right? Like, Brooklyn is awful against point guards regardless of whether it's FanDuel or DraftKings. But the numbers will change a little bit, and the ranking will change slightly because there's obviously bonuses for triple doubles and things like that, which will either inflate or deflate scores. So matchups are still matchups, but the rankings will change a little bit.
Yeah, I say a lot, this guy has a good on-court matchup, and then I'll say this guy's got a good fantasy matchup. That's what I'm referring to is the scoring system in fantasy based on, obviously the DVP is based on scoring on the individual sites. And like Kyle was saying, we're working hard trying to get all this content out to you, but the more we put on our plate, the more we have to figure out the best way to manage our time. So just bear with us. It's all coming.
Yeah, like Mike said,
we're trying to figure out the best way to go about all this so that we can give you the best content out there.
Yeah, obviously the more we add, the more time it takes. So when I add something, I have to figure out how to streamline something else to give myself time to focus on that. As you can tell, I'm already busy with everything else. So this is a priority for me. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to add in content while streamline everything else. So with that said, in the coming days, there will be 2 sets of sheets put out. It'll be a DraftKings and a FanDuel sheet. I will label them. I'll send out 2 separate emails. So look for that. Make sure you read the title. It'll say 128, 129 FanDuel, 128, 29 DraftKings. Once those are set up and good to go, those will be sent out. But bear with me until then. And then the optimizer will be the last thing coming because I have to go in and rewrite the code to formulate a DraftKings optimizer. Because obviously with flex positions and things like that, it's a lot more intensive than it is on FanDuel. However, I have really, really good news for that. Fantasy Sports Co. Okay, I'll check that out. Speaking of that, shout out to Travis, one of our viewers. He is working with a buddy of his that is an app developer, and we are optimistic about getting an optimizer out that is extremely efficient, more efficient than the one I have right now, and it will generate up to 150 lineups. So bear with us. Obviously, once it's all on the website, it'll be perfect. We won't need to send out Excel sheets, but we're working on getting that set up for you while we're transitioning over to a website. So look out for that. That's in the process. We're hoping in the next week we might be able to at least get it and test it over here, and then I'll be able to send it out to you guys. So bear with us while we get that all going, and then I will get that out to you guys as we get it in.
Exciting stuff, man. Really, really exciting stuff.
So Fantasy Phenom is making moves.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if we got this into an app, that would be amazing. I don't know. That's going to be a little further down the road, only because an app is pricey. But I can promise you so much that with the app will probably require a subscription, but if you are already a subscriber, you will get that app. However, what it'll do is it'll increase notability in that it'll be on an app store, and you don't get the paid content without subscribing, but subscribing unlocks everything, website, app, all that stuff. So we're definitely making moves.
Only you guys can make it worth our or everyone's while to have all this stuff. You know, the bigger this gets, the more that's going to come for sure.
Exactly. And the sooner I can quit Target, the easier it'll be for me to get everything out, because I will have time during the day. I will be able to update sheets daily until we get the website, and even when that website's out, I'll be able to update the site daily. So everything is just going to fall into place. It's coming.
Just like NBA hoops, more minutes equals more money, right?
Yeah, buddy.
We can free up some minutes. We're gonna get some more stuff out there.
And then lastly, once I get this live scoring set up where it'll track projections, what I'll do is I will add it into a sheet. So I'll have a running tab of like 128 projections and actual, 129, blah, blah, blah. And I'll just send it out every night. I'll just have a tab. I add the new tab every night. And so you guys will be able to see how accurate the projections are, how close they were, things like that. And so it'll give you an idea of, maybe players that are really accurate, some guys that are really volatile, that'll score either really low or really high. It's all going to be another tool.
Yeah, I mean, the ideas are just endless. I know I come up with ideas on the daily.
Someone just asked if we're going to be transitioning to baseball. Hell yeah. That is my...
I can't wait. I keep calling Kyle, be like, hey, Kyle, you want to do some baseball stuff? And we got a lot going on. It's coming, I promise. I'm excited about baseball, definitely.
Yeah, baseball...
I know you guys are too.
Baseball is mine and Mike's favorite sport, so I'm confident that we're going to run that shit, man. Like, there's not going to be a better site, because, most of these sites, Roto Grinders and Fantasy Labs, those guys started because of football. So they're football guys talking baseball, which is not as good. Me and Mike are baseball first. I'm going to be honest with you. Baseball is which is ironic because I never played baseball growing up, but the numbers in baseball are what drives me to it. You guys know I'm a numbers guy. And all these sabermetrics and all that, oh, man. I don't even need a girlfriend for that.
That's my wheelhouse, man. I last season I started to, since I was watching every Yankees game, I started to come up with my own version of wins above replacement based on the eye test, and I would like plus and minus all the players all season long, and I tried to see how my own metric would compare to, the popular metrics, and I don't know, man. I just have a lot of fun doing it, and it's going to be a lot of fun having this whole group along the ride with us.
Yeah, buddy. All right, let's get into the slate tomorrow, Mike. I'm feeling good. I hit a 287. I literally missed the cash line by half a point tonight with Derek Favors in my lineup. So that makes me really confident. I feel like I'm getting back on track. I broke even because I hedged my bet on the late night. So, we're getting there, man.
I did pretty well too. My cash lineup cashed in 60%, so I was like right around the cash line. So I cashed in 60% of my double ups, and I had a tournament lineup today that hit 301 on DraftKings and cashed everywhere, which was pretty awesome.
Man, I can only imagine if Favors plays or if I have anyone else that's even competent. Oh, man. The cash line was ridiculously low tonight, and yet, ironically, on a night that it's extremely low, I play a double up and I have one of my better nights.
Yeah, it seems to be the name of the game, but you just got to stick with your strategy, I think. I don't know, to me, if you keep changing your strategy as far as contest entry and, buy-in total and things of that nature, you're never going to have a large enough sample size to dictate whether or not it's a good strategy or not. I think you have to stick to it for a couple weeks at least.
Yeah. All right, so the 2-game early slate. I can tell you right off the bat, I feel like if you don't have Westbrook and Irving, you're not going to cash.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you could say that about Harden on the main slate too. If you're playing cash lineups, which I don't recommend playing cash in a 2-game slate, but yeah, I think you're going to have Westbrook, right? There's enough value on this 2-game slate too.
You have to have Westbrook.
I think so.
I mean, I get that Brandon Jennings is, good value, things like that, and Dennis Schroeder maybe, but I just don't think you can get cute when you have Westbrook and Kyrie. I mean, this game, I know that it's in Cleveland, and, OKC's not very good, but Cleveland can't put away teams. Their backups are that bad, so I don't know if it'll be a blowout. I think they'll at least get into the fourth quarter, and I feel like if you don't have Westbrook and Kyrie, both are great matchups against each other.
Yeah, there's the line on this game is an 8-point spread and a 220 over under. These teams have not played yet this year. I believe this game is nationally televised as well. So how all of that factors in, you be the judge. In my opinion, again, obviously I like Westbrook, and I think that there's enough value that you can safely roster Westbrook. Now, the thing about Brandon Jennings is he might be the best value play on the slate. So the fact that, like I said, I don't really like to play cash in a 2-game slate. I think I think you can fade Brandon Jennings if you want, but he's going to be the value chalk tomorrow on this 2-game slate for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shooting guard. Oladipo's the only one over 4,600 on this slate.
My favorite is Hardaway Jr., I think. Again, he's most likely going to draw the start tomorrow since Cephalosha has been ruled out. In my opinion, I think he's the guy that starts. He started the last time these two teams played. They played on the 16th, so a couple days ago. And he had a pretty good game. I mean, he played over 30 minutes, and this is his former team. If you buy into that narrative, he had 33 DraftKings points that day. What are your thoughts on Hardaway Jr.?
I mean, he's against New York. Old team. I know it's in Atlanta, but Courtney Lee starting again, who was the worst defender. I mean, New York was up there in teams against shooting guards when he was starting, so I mean, they're still up there, but they were much worse. So, yeah, Hardaway Jr. is in a good spot, and he had 33, 34 FanDuel points last time.
Yeah, something like that. He hit over 30 DraftKings points, and he's 4,100 on DraftKings as well, which is a lot, which is even nicer.
You play Oladipo? I don't actually no. I think you have to go value at shooting guard. I don't think you pay it to Oladipo tomorrow.
I mean, if you look at the slate, who are people going to roster at shooting guard tomorrow? The ownership's going to be spread out between Oladipo, Hardaway Jr., and then I think you'll have Lee and Shumpert, and then everybody else is going to be really low owned, right? I
think so, yeah. But I mean, to me, I feel like you got to get some LeBron James in there on a 2-game slate.
Yeah, I want LeBron. I want Westbrook.
Yeah.
I will say, obviously 2 games, you got to consider stacks, like a game stack, and I think there's an argument to stack this Atlanta-New York game. The last time these two teams played, it was like a wire-to-wire game. I know Atlanta is favored by 8.5, but the last time these two teams played, there was 21 lead changes in that game, and it came down to a final shot. And if you look at the players in that game, all the studs really returned value.
Do you think Holiday's in consideration? He'll be going up against Kyle Korver or whoever backs Iman Shumpert up now.
In the tournament, possibly. I mean, he's shown that he can have a 30-point upside if he gets the minutes, but that's the problem. His minutes have been so inconsistent. This whole shooting guard minutes have been so inconsistent for the Knicks.
And he's volatile as hell. He had 26, 4, 20, and 5 in his last 4 games.
Right, and it's all minutes dependent. He gets there if he gets minutes.
Obviously, small forward LeBron. And then, to me, I think I'd go Bazemore.
I think you can go Bazemore on this 2-game slate. Again, no Cephalosha.
I just don't think you can roster LeBron and Carmelo tomorrow.
On FanDuel, I don't think you can. No, it's possible on DraftKings.
Well, you'd have to fade Westbrook if you do that.
Not necessarily. On DraftKings, Melo's 7-4 and LeBron is 9-9. Yeah. So that's like a $1,500 price difference.
Yeah.
Between the two.
I
don't know if there's enough value to do that.
I don't think there is either. You're literally spending $3,500 the rest of the way, I think.
Actually, I might have built a FanDuel lineup already with both Melo and LeBron. Yeah, I did. It's possible.
What did you have left over?
I don't know. What do you mean? Who else is in that lineup, you mean?
Yeah.
So it's Russell Westbrook and Cameron Payne, Hardaway Jr. and Courtney Lee, LeBron, Melo, Porzingis, Sabonis, and Adams. Obviously, a complete tournament punt of a lineup.
Yeah, that's really, really punty. I don't know. I just don't know if I can play both. Kevin Love against OKC. That's a really, really good matchup for him.
I agree.
Price is exaggerated a little bit, though, for what he does.
He's going to get Sabonis and Grant. Jeremy Grant.
Is that who's going to back Cantor up now? Or play for Cantor?
I think you're going to see Laverne get the center minutes. Because Cantor was playing center on the second team. I think Grant's going to stay power forward and Laverne is going to get whatever.
If you want to be really, really contrarian tomorrow, I guarantee you low ownership. And it's Cantor.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely low owned.
So just, don't expect a high point output, but if you want to go low owned, Cantor is definitely that guy.
So with Cantor being out, like I said, I think the minutes go to Laverne, but I could see Cameron Payne benefiting as well a lot from being a playmaker on that second team without one, because that second team is going to go to be Abrinas, Cameron Payne, Jeremy Grant, Laverne, and who? I don't know.
I can see that because, like you said, Cantor was the player that the offense ran through on the second unit.
Right, and I think, I don't know, I could see it being Cameron Payne.
I also can see that. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. You hit on those value plays, Mike. I gotta give it to you. You got that value play.
Well, that's the DraftKings skill. You need it more on that side, in my opinion.
Insight is definitely good to the show. Appreciate that.
Definitely, man. So, like I'm saying, Brandon Jennings is going to be a value chalk tomorrow at point guard. I could see, like I said, if you're playing tournaments like I am in this 2-game slate, I'd rather fade Jennings and go to Payne maybe. It's just
for tournament wise, yeah.
Just something to look at. I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying you can do it.
Payne is not a cash play.
He's probably not going to be in play, for another month unless he really starts to pick it up. But on a 2-game slate,
agree. Out of these centers,
second team too.
Out of these centers, obviously, I think Dwight is the best option and will put up the most points.
Yes, 100% agree.
But with all the other stars you're paying up for, I think you probably have to go Steven Adams. I don't really like Tristan Thompson at all. And then that New York situation is hit or miss. So I think really the only two options tomorrow are Adams and Dwight.
I think they're both in play on DraftKings. I think you can make a lineup of both those guys. Adams, is probably going to get a minute uptick as well without Cantor.
Yeah.
So there's that to look at.
So that's your 2-game slate.
There it is.
Now to the main 6-game slate. Aaron Williams is still out tomorrow, I believe.
Yes,
I
he's
believe
going to be out.
I believe he's been ruled out, yeah.
He has, yep.
Wes Matthews is a game-time decision. J.J. Barea is still out, and they waived Pierre Jackson.
Yeah, he got hurt. He hurt his hammy. They signed Yogi Ferrell, who was a former Net this year.
Does he play, or is this all Devin Harris today?
No, I think what you're going to see, I think I have here Wes Matthews listed as probable tomorrow. He did practice today, and they expect him to go.
So put Seth Curry at point guard.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. You're going to see Seth at point guard, and, obviously you're going to see Harris back him up. And the only I'm thinking is that could possibly put Harris in play is if Matthews is limited, but I don't think he will be. He's only missed 2 games. It's not like this is that serious of an injury.
Yeah.
If he goes, I expect him to go. But I don't know. I'm not really looking at all there at all.
Do you like Baby Curry against the Spurs?
No, I think I'm going to take the approach of fading this game altogether. It worked today. It worked well today with the Utah-Memphis thing. Was it today that was that game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Would have been a good idea to fade Derek Favors.
Yep, I just didn't even look at the whole game, man.
What's up, Missy?
Not doing it.
Missy's car got hit today.
What?
Yeah, she was parked.
You okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She wasn't even in the car. She was parked, and someone hit her car while she was sleeping, and then didn't even know it. They drove away.
What assholes?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Are you in your video?
Mm-hmm. Golden State at Portland. Obviously, this is going to be a good game. I like Dame in this game more than Steph Curry.
It's going to be an interesting game, for sure. I think I like Dame as well over Steph Curry. I like Steph and Clay at home more, so I don't know why.
Surprisingly, Dame does
look at them more.
Yeah, Dame does terrible in Golden State for what it's worth, which is ironic because he's from Oakland.
Yeah, so the first time these two teams played this year was like an all-out blowout, and the Warriors are like showing no let-up at all. Like they are just running train on people and just going after them. And the last time these two teams played was in Golden State, and there was no Dame, and it was a close game. So go figure,
Yeah. I don't know. I like Lillard tomorrow. I do.
Yeah, he's definitely in play. Not my favorite overall play at point guard, but he's in play.
Pat Bev against Indiana. High scoring game.
I mean, like I said, you got to look at that. You got to look at that game for sure. On this slate, there's not a lot to love as far as point totals. Yeah, I guess in that mid-price range at point guard, I'm looking at him. I'm looking at McConnell, and that's kind of it. I don't know. Is there anybody else at mid-price that you're really looking at?
Negative.
Yeah, me neither.
I think Beverly could be a good play tomorrow. It's going to be a high-point game. It's going to be a high-pace game. So, I mean, by default, I think Beverly should at least have an opportunity to put up points.
I mean, Collison just had, 45 against Teague?
Yeah. What about Teague at home against Houston? I know Patrick Beverly defense, but he hasn't been amazing this year. And with that said, it's going to be a high-scoring game, and Teague is definitely a huge part of that offense.
I think a lot of these Indiana players are in play tomorrow, again, because I like to go after the team that's playing the Rockets, obviously playing up in pace significantly. They're playing at home as well. I know Vegas has this only as a 3.5 point spread, so all signs are pointing to paying up in this game. Now, would you rather roster Lillard or Teague?
Lillard.
Because I think that game is also going to be a higher point total as well.
The Golden State Portland?
Yeah, so
Yes.
I think that's my decision right now as to who I want to pay up at point guard in like a cash format.
Yeah, I
I
think
might just go Harden and say screw it.
Harden's a good play tomorrow. I'm telling you, man. The matchup is juicy, and I know I don't expect another 80-point performance, but you had a day to rest. A lot of things point to Harden tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely going to happen tomorrow, I think.
The problem with Harden and any stud like Westbrook is they on a day that they play, they literally dictate the cash line. And so if you try and be different and don't roster them and they have an amazing game, you literally can just turn your phone off.
Absolutely, and especially on DraftKings when you have limited salary, and these guys are similarly priced on both sides. It's like that's what cash games have come down to. You have to put in Harden or Westbrook, and then you have to play it safe with your value plays in order to cash. That's why it's so important to be at your computer right before lock to get the right value in.
We're gonna do a
There's not a lot to super love today at point guard.
Someone just asked, how do we know who to play for cash games? So we'll do a breakdown of cash and GPP at the end of the video.
Okay.
Alfred Payton against Toronto, Kyle Lowry defense. I think that could be a mid-range play. Not really mid-range, but 6,800, cheaper.
Yeah, I think his price is still a little too high for me. I don't know. I do like the matchup. Fournier has been upgraded to. Oh no, he's still questionable. In the 12 games without Fournier this season, Payton is averaging 33 DraftKings points. So at 7,000 or 6,900 or something, wherever he's at, that's not even 5 times value. He can go off though, so he's still in play in tournaments.
Are you looking at Rondo tomorrow?
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm not either.
Not going to go any of those guys.
What about TJ McConnell?
Yeah, I mentioned him. He's only 5,300 on DraftKings, and I think that's a really nice price for him. He's got 30-plus DraftKings points in 4 out of his last 6 games. He's got a limited ceiling, and that's why I think he's more of a cash game play because he averages like 7 field goal attempts a game. The guy just doesn't take shots at all. So his offensive upside is somewhat limited, but he's on the floor 30 minutes and he's obviously putting up numbers. And yeah, I guess his totals don't really lie over the last few games.
Yeah. And then I'm not really looking at Drew Holiday 7,600. That's way too high for me for him.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at him. Obviously, I did some research on Holiday, and he has been balling lately, man. He's got, I think, 2 50-point games in his last 3 on DraftKings, and his price is too high for what his floor is. And then the matchup against John Wall, I don't know, I trust John Wall is a pretty good defender when he wants to be.
That's what I'm saying. I love John Wall tomorrow, though. John Wall is an amazing matchup.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. His price is 9,900 now, which is the same as, or 9,800. It's the same as LeBron. I guess they're on different slates, so it doesn't really matter. So favorite point guard.
Favorite point guard, John Wall.
I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think I can roster John Wall if I'm going to go. I think John Wall's my favorite tournament play at point guard. But in cash, I think I'm going to go
Abe.
Harden. Because you
Oh,
can on DraftKings.
yeah. So shooting guard, obviously we talked about this game. We're going to do a hard fade on that.
Yeah.
Golden State, Portland, CJ McCollum and Klay Thompson. Either in play, yes, no, why?
Yeah, they're both in play, for sure. I think I like CJ a little bit more. He's only 7,100 on DraftKings as well. So, I mean, would you rather play CJ or Dame tomorrow? I mean, it's just like, it's always a crapshoot with those two. Who knows?
I'm going Dame.
Yeah, I rely on Dame more. CJ's kind of been off lately. And from what I've been watching, they've been having CJ take the ball up a lot. Dame's been playing off the ball a lot, and I think it's been benefiting him. I have Eric Gordon listed as questionable. He practiced today.
Yeah, I have him as a game time decision.
I like him if he plays.
So, I think James Harden obviously gets a little more run, not too much, but a little more run with Eric Gordon off. If Eric Gordon plays, does it change your position on Harden at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. We're not looking at Indiana shooting guards.
I think you have to consider the fact that they've been starting C.J. Miles. In the last 3 games, they started C.J. Miles. Monta Ellis was back last game, and he played under 15 minutes, and they played 40 minutes of C.J. Miles. So obviously those 3 are out of play for that reason. And I don't know if there's any correlation, but Paul George, has got 40 DraftKings points in each of the last 3 with C.J. Miles starting. I don't know if there's anything to be said about that.
That's true. If CJ Miles starts, I like him tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, in those 3 games that he started, he really hasn't put up big numbers.
No, but Harden defense is enticing.
Yeah, I just caution that he might not be that big a role in this offense with the starting unit. I think him off the bench.
He's more the focal point. Yeah. Evan Fournier. What did I see on him? I believe he was.
He's still questionable. Yeah.
Yeah. And then DeMar DeRozan is also questionable.
So DeMar DeRozan's 7,700 on DraftKings. I think if he plays, you have to consider him.
I think you have to play him if he going up against Orlando.
Well, I mean, there is some caution in the fact that he's coming off an injury that has kept him out longer than expected.
True.
When this first came out, they said, yeah, he's going to miss 2 games. Now it's 3, and he's questionable for his 4th. So that's the caution if he does come back to play.
If he doesn't play, Norman Powell's up to 4,900.
Yeah, he's 56 on DraftKings now.
That is a lot harder value. That's a lot harder to justify his value now.
I mean, he's stepped into DeRozan's role, similar to what Corey Joseph did when Lowry rested against Brooklyn. He just stepped right into those minutes in that role, and he's firing shots off, and he's looked good. He looks like a solid poor man's replacement of DeMar DeRozan. Even at 5,600 on DraftKings, I mean, I still think he gets a lot of ownership tomorrow at that price.
Okay. I would like to see if I could do a Harden and Wall lineup, maybe even Harden, Wall, and Dame, and then go value. So Norman Powell, C.J. Miles in play. So just some off the top of my head.
Someone just mentioned Alan Crabb. I did want to mention him just for the fact that, in this Golden State Portland game, I think there can be some value to come out of those 4 guys between Turner, Harkless, Aminu, and Crabb. I think there could be some value to be had there. Who it's going to be, I don't know. I will say that Crab did make 6 of 8 3-pointers last game, and he was just on fire.
I think this sets up as a Crab game.
Yeah, if you look at the last time these two teams played without Dame, obviously Crab was starting that.
28 points.
Remember correct? Yeah, he had a good game starting, but I like to put more investment into the fact that he was hot shooting last game, and the game is still at home.
I just think when you're talking about this type of game, the pace, it profiles as an Allen Crabbe type game. Just a lot of shooting, fast pace, scoring.
Yeah, if I were to pick one of the four, I think that's the one I would go with. He's also the cheapest of the four as well.
Yeah.
And Portland's won 3 straight, and they beat Boston and I think Memphis now. So they got Dame back healthy. I think this could be a game down the stretch, maybe.
I think Crabbe gets his minutes. He's gotten 29, 28 the last 2 games, so. Dwayne Wade is at 7,800 tomorrow. That is pricey.
Yeah, that is pretty pricey tomorrow.
That is a bold move if you roster him.
Yeah, I would rather pay up to whatever Jimmy Butler is if you're thinking that is where you want to invest your money in tomorrow.
Coach said they are both starting again tomorrow, but ooh. That's hard.
The punishment is over.
I think he got punished for benching them. You see how bad they played?
Yeah, probably.
Philadelphia we can stay away from. Washington and New Orleans. Is Tyreek Evans in play at 5,700?
No, I'm not going to go there.
Someone just asked if Evan Turner gets more minutes. He does slightly. He had 33 and 31 over the last 2. Allen Crabbe had 28 and 29. So
yes. So Evan Turner is in the starting role now, which again I think takes some usage away from him. Because, he likes to create his own shot. He's not a catch and shoot guy, Evan Turner, in my opinion. Whereas Crabbe, is more of a 6-man for this team and is a catch and shoot guy. Obviously, he had 6 threes last game.
Here's the thing with Turner is he's extremely consistent. He will get you 16 to 20 points almost every time, with a rare outburst of upward to 25 points.
I will say that Turner, if this game goes small, I think we see some extra Turner and Crabbe tomorrow. Some extra minutes for those 2 guys.
I guess maybe Turner, depending on what his price is. What's his price? 30. He's 46. I mean, you're looking at 20 points. I don't know if I can count on that, because he needs almost 23 points to hit value, 5 times value, and he's only done that. He's only hit over 20 points twice in his last 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're just continuing to talk about these 4 guys, again, I think there's some value to come out of that. I have no idea where it is, and I wouldn't really invest much time trying to figure it out because you're going to drive yourself crazy. Just maybe watch some highlights of the games, pick the one you like the best, and just give it a shot.
I don't know. I just think I have to go Crabbe, and especially in tournaments. Crabbe at least in tournaments because of his upside.
Yeah, I think they're both just tournament punts.
I don't know. I don't see Turner as a tournament play at all. His upside is so limited.
Yeah, his price is a little too high.
Tyreek at 57. I didn't catch what you said about him.
Yeah, I think that price is a little too high as well.
And then
look at his points per game. I mean,
what about Bradley Beal?
I don't know what to think about Bradley Beal tomorrow.
Streaky.
I think you have to compare him with the other people in his price range at shooting guard, and he probably does stand out a little bit, but I don't know. I think all signs point to me spending down at shooting guard.
Yeah. I guess if you want to go balanced season play, but I tend to think, at least, I haven't run any optimals yet, but I tend to think we'll be looking at stars and then more value tomorrow.
Yeah. Hoping for some late injury news to get some more value.
Small forward. Harrison Barnes, Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to fade that.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant against Portland. Definitely in play.
Yeah, I think he's the guy, obviously, that you want to spend money on in this game. I think overall in the whole game, I'd rank the studs Durant, Lillard, then Draymond.
Yes. Do you think... I think Kevin Durant will be one of the lower owned studs. I think most people will spend up... Oh my god. Give me a second while I get Skype back on. We all know how much I love this program. Yay, Skype.
I'm back.
I'm back and I'm better. Alright.
I think Durant is a prime pivot off of Harden tomorrow.
I agree with that. And as I was saying, I think Durant is the lower owned of these studs tomorrow. I think a lot of people are going to be on Harden.
Yeah, if you want to pivot off of Harden in tournaments, I think Durant's a solid way to go. So is Wall.
Are you looking at Trevor Ariza tomorrow?
Yeah, I think he can. He hasn't really been shining much recently, but he gets the minutes, and this is kind of a good matchup, I think, for him.
Sorry,
I like Paul George, though. Again, I mean, he's been pretty consistent over his last three. He seems to, somewhat
8,300
elevate.
though?
Yeah, it's somewhat pricey. He's 70, 79, 78, something like that.
83 on
DraftKings.
FanDuel.
But I mean, I like playing. I like paying up in this game. I mean, high point total going up against the Rockets at home. He's on somewhat of a hot streak. Would you rather pay for George or Teague? I think I'd rather pay for George.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that yet.
Yeah, I think you always got to look at the team that plays the Celtics. The team that plays the Rockets.
Okay. Orlando at Toronto. I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's not much to like in that game overall. To be
Really
honest with
isn't.
you. They played this year before, and it was a stomping in Orlando. It was 109-79 Raptors.
Yeah.
December the 18th. So
I don't know. I
take that with what you will.
I don't think I can. I don't know. I don't want to roster a small forward from that game.
No.
Jimmy Butler against Philly. I think I'd rather pay that than Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, I like Jimmy Butler in tournaments a lot tomorrow. He's only 8,800 on DraftKings, which is $900 cheaper. And I mean, I know he was 1 for 15 from the floor last game. He just had a bad game, but kept his price low. And the dude has 4 50-plus DraftKings point games in his last 10. I mean, this dude's ceiling is we've seen it,
Yeah.
So at 8,800, I think he can easily get you the same thing that anybody else in the slate can.
Robert Covington, New Orleans, small forwards I'm fading. Otto Porter, Kelly Oubre against New Orleans.
I think Otto Porter's got to be in play for what he's been doing lately. His price is adjusted a little bit.
He had a bad game last game too, so people might be off him.
Yeah, maybe. It's a good matchup against Solomon Hill.
So, something to keep in mind, and it hasn't produced anything yet. Kelly Oubre's gotten 30 minutes over the last 2 games each.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been the sixth man on this team. He doesn't... I don't know why, he doesn't see the ball. I mean, he spreads the floor more, he doesn't really see much usage.
I like Oubre as a player, too. I wish he got more usage, but he's just, I don't know, something to watch out for. I think that could be a punt play tomorrow against New Orleans.
Yeah, he's always in play for his price because he's had good games.
So, that could be a punt play tomorrow.
So, would you go... if you're playing all day slate, let's do this. If you're playing all day slate and you have LeBron and Melo, do you go LeBron over Durant?
I go Durant over LeBron.
Durant over LeBron. Do you go Melo over Paul George?
No, I go Paul George over Melo.
Okay, I think I'd go LeBron and Paul George.
It's the priciest of the two. Dirk against San Antonio?
Dirk should be back. I'm still not going to do it.
And then LaMarcus Aldridge?
I don't know. I just can't. I don't think I'm going in this game, man. I really don't think I'm doing it.
7,900 is too expensive with Kawhi back.
Yeah.
All right, Draymond Green against Portland. Obviously, matchup is there.
Yeah, he almost had a triple-double against Portland last time they played. I don't know what they do to try and... You think him and Plumlee go matched up against each other probably most of the game? That's what I'm thinking.
Probably, but I don't think either one really scares me.
Me neither. No, I'm definitely thinking Draymond. Like I said earlier, if I had to rank the studs in this game, it goes Durant, Lillard, and then Draymond. But then if you look at the position-by-position analysis, Draymond might be the best play overall because there's plenty of point guards and plenty of small forwards, and there's really not plenty of power forwards tonight.
I was just going to say that. I think for price, Draymond may be the best play from this game. When you're looking at a point to price ratio.
Yeah, and the fact that what else is at that position, especially on FanDuel,
Yeah, I mean, there's just this power forward is really light tomorrow. We're not looking at this Dallas San Antonio game.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely not going to roster anyone from Portland.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. Power forward has been as of late on FanDuel.
So I do think Draymond. I do think Draymond has a good game tomorrow. And like you said, his price is definitely dropped, but
his upside is limited though. So if you can find someone for cheap that you think can go 8x or 7x or something like that, perhaps you can go there. But I don't really see him getting much past that 6 times value if you're talking ceiling.
I agree with that. Draymond's ceiling is definitely capped on this team.
Definitely. I think everybody's ceiling is somewhat capped.
Now, we didn't actually, I got to bring this up. We didn't mention Steph Curry when we talked about our favorite studs from this game. I mean, Dame defense is nothing to write home about either. And Steph is hot right now. He is hot.
Yeah, he had an awesome game today. I don't know. To me, I liked playing those guys at home because of what they do from 3-point range. Like if you look at if you look at Clay and Steph's numbers,
they're definitely better.
I said last night on the show. Yeah, they shoot better from 3 at home, and that's Curry's game, When he has games like today, it's because he's hitting 10 threes.
Yeah. I don't know. Just that could be something to watch for. I don't know if this profiles as a Ryan Anderson type game.
I don't think anybody will ever know what game profiles as a Ryan Anderson type game. I don't know, man. I just no thanks.
What about Thad Young though?
It's interesting. I don't have much insight as to what type of game is good for Thad Young. You know, I try to think about, is this Houston high pace game going to be good for Thad Young or not? You know, I think I'd rather go with Miles Turner.
I love Miles Turner in the slate.
I will say that Montrezl Harrell is really, really cheap on DraftKings. I think he could be a solid tournament punt. Let me get his price for you.
Who?
Montrezl Harrell.
He's 45 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I saw it. He's 3,400 on DraftKings. And that to me is too cheap for him. I mean, Nene got the majority of the minutes at center last game. He was coming off a game of rest. I don't think that happens again in this matchup. So I think we're trying to make sense of this front court. Perhaps we see some increased time for Harrell, and at 3,400, it could pay off.
Do you think Nene rests tomorrow? He seems to be almost on like an every other day basis right now.
I don't know. I couldn't really decide that or not.
Let me tell you what I see here.
I can tell you, I don't think he gets 29 minutes again.
Played, rest, played, rest. Very limited play. Very limited play. So if that trend continues, he'll either rest or play very limited tomorrow.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So at 4,500, I don't go there, but on DraftKings at 34, I think it's worth looking at.
Okay. Surge, I'm going to stay away from. Even though a tournament play, obviously, but the matchup is good for Surge. But I don't know what the hell's going on with that front court situation. He had 23 minutes last game.
It's so strange what they're doing for those minutes, man. It's impossible to gauge.
The only two guys that are locks for minutes on that team right now are Elfrid Payton and Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Only two guys.
If Fournier comes back tomorrow, who the heck knows what's going to happen?
That's true, too. Yeah, Portland, no. No one there.
Nope.
Taj Gibson could be a sneaky play tomorrow.
Yeah, I like his price. He seems relatively safe for $5,000, you know.
Let me see what he's done the last couple games.
He's had a dud. He had a dud against Atlanta.
Over his last 5, he's averaged 20 minutes and 20 FanDuel points. I mean, that's 4 times value, though.
Solid matchup for him, though. I think they're going to need his size in there.
Do the minutes worry you? 20 minutes?
Yeah, again, this is another team that the minutes are completely impossible to predict. Chicago Bulls, the Magic, the Bucks. You know, there's a lot of teams out there that the minutes just shift from game to game, so it is tough.
Okay, what about the flip side? Ilyasova's price dropped 300 down to 57. He hit 1 times value last game.
Yeah, I think Nerlens Noel is the obvious play. At power forward tomorrow, I think he's a lock on FanDuel.
Oh, that's right. Is Embiid? Yeah, Embiid is out.
Yeah, he didn't even travel with the team.
Yeah.
They said last game that Noel would have started in Embiid's place. Remember, he was questionable against the Rockets.
Yep.
And Embiid ended up playing, but they were saying that Noel was going to draw the start. I know a lot of people were speculating it was going to be Okafor, but if Noel starts at 4,700, in the last 2 games where he started, he averaged 40-plus DraftKings points.
Yeah,
on DraftKings, he is 6,300.
Fuck.
And I think he's like Norm Powell. I think he's still going to garner ownership because like 40 plus DraftKings points at 6,300 is
That's still over
solid.
6 times value, yeah. But
So
fuck, that's
so
steep.
on cash, I think at cash you can consider it, but on FanDuel, Noel's got to be in your lineups on both if he gets to start.
Bro, Noel was 80. I remember saying this. 84% owned in a GPP.
Yeah, I mean for good reason. He went off. He's solid. He gets numbers everywhere too. You know, he blocks, steals, assists. But yeah, Okafor is playing. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Okafor and Noel split time. To me, if they split time, I don't want him in DraftKings, but I still want Noel if he starts at 4,700 against Robin Lopez.
Okay, so Noel and Okafor are the same exact price. However, on FanDuel, I think you have to go Noel because more flexibility, right? As a power forward, you can roster too.
We just talked about how power forward's been so tricky lately, and here you go, FanDuel is giving you like a gift with Noel. So now you really only have to worry about one power forward if Noel gets to start.
Someone just mentioned that Robert Covington benefits when Embiid is out, but he's struggled the past 2 games Embiid has been out. Does that worry you at all?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything to it. I thought that as well, but I don't know if there's really anything to it. He's just a streaky guy in general, Covington.
He's he's another guy where if his shot's not falling, he does nothing else.
And the fact that he's going to have Butler tomorrow kind of puts me off of him.
I agree with that. But TJ McConnell I like TJ McConnell without Embiid a lot.
McConnell and Noel, man, in cash, I think that's a solid way to go on FanDuel.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Embiid being out, but now that Embiid is out, I like McConnell a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's a solid 2-man stack that is going to let you get to Harden tomorrow on cash.
Yep. Look at Keefe tomorrow, 6,900.
More Keefe?
Yep.
Yeah, him and Otto Porter's prices are both high, but they're in a plus matchup, and I think because of their prices, they're going to go under-owned. I don't think Markieff Morris is a 7K player, to be honest with you. He's just on a hot streak.
Yeah, but I mean, if he continues his hot streak, I don't know. He has a good matchup. He has a really good matchup.
I think the regression is coming.
100%. I mean, you don't want to roster him when that regression hits, because we all know that regression is ugly.
I might just take the money he's made me and say thanks.
Okay.
Wait for his price to go down.
Here's someone that's cheap, but has been getting kind of okay minutes. Donatas Montayunas has gotten 24, 17, and 22 over his last 3 games.
It is interesting.
He hit 30 points last game.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. That was the most interesting part. I was following in his minutes uptick. He had a string of bad games and he completely fell out of the rotation, and then he started to get some more minutes with Davis out, and then I was like, oh well, I wonder what's going to happen when Davis comes back. And sure enough, Davis comes back, and they play them together somewhat too.
I saw that, Davis at center and him at
Yeah, or I think or either way. So definitely something to look at. Obviously, in the tournament value pool, I don't think he's one of the top 3 or top 5 value plays on this slate, but he's definitely someone to consider if you fall to that 3,700. Maybe to fade Noel.
I don't know if I can.
But I don't think you can.
Yeah, I don't know if I can fade Noel. It's a good matchup for him, but I mean, here's a guy that if he goes off, he's going to separate you. He will.
Yeah, and if Noel gets 80% ownership again.
Yeah. That's crazy. It was at a $25 GPP, Mike. 84% ownership.
Nuts. It is nuts. It shows how many people are on their shit, man. There's nobody just throwing lineups in there.
Well, you know what? That's one of the reasons why the ownership is lower. I'm sorry, the cash line is lower on those higher entries, because when you're throwing actual money on a lineup, you're more careful and do research. When you play those dollar entries, people will throw in 100 lineups and just literally make combinations and not care. Because who gives a shit if you lose $1? If one of those lineups goes off with all your contrarian plays, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why those dollar entries are so hard.
I agree.
Again, no thank you to this Dallas-San Antonio game.
No thanks.
What about Zaza tomorrow?
I looked it up. Obviously, he seems to be hovering right around 5x. But he only played... He gets extended run from time to time, you know?
Yeah, and
Kind of
Portland's...
based on...
God.
Just kind of based on who he's up against. And so I looked to see what they did to match up with Plumlee. You know, the last time these two teams played. And Zaza started, he had 18 minutes, 13 points, 3 rebounds. So...
What's that? 16, 17 points?
Not enough.
Yeah, it's definitely not enough. I don't know. Does this profile is a more McGee game?
I don't know if I'm going there, man.
I'm not saying I'm going there, but that would put me off of Zaza is what I'm kind of leaning towards.
Perhaps. It is a back-to-back.
What
I don't know
did
if that factors in at all. McGee did okay today. I mean, I don't know if he did okay at all today. I just saw him on the court a lot today.
He had 10 minutes and 16 points.
I like Plumlee, though.
Here's the thing with McGee. When he gets minutes, he's returning value easily. 10 minutes, 15 points. 14 minutes, 20 points. 13 minutes, 19 points. 8 minutes, he had 17 points.
Yeah, I still think that they're going to take the center off the floor tomorrow and try and go small against Portland.
Yeah. Plumlee, 7K, though. That's... For that price, I'd rather go Miles Turner.
Yeah, that is a little expensive. He's only $6,000 on DraftKings, and I think that's where I'm looking in cash. At $6,000, I mean, the dude has been extremely consistent as of late. He double-doubled the last time these two teams played.
You talking Miles Turner or Plumlee?
Plumlee.
Okay.
I mean, on FanDuel, I think it's definitely... I think you did go Miles Turner over Plumlee. I agree.
Houston over the last 5, 62 points a game to centers. I guarantee you, I can already tell you right now, Plumlee will return... I'm sorry, Miles Turner will return in optimals. I'll tell you that right now. I can just see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely between those two guys. To me, on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I don't think I'm paying $7,000 for Miles Plumlee.
Nah, I don't think I can. Especially if you're trying to go studs elsewhere.
I said Miles. I meant Mason.
I know what you meant.
Mason Plumlee he's double-double in each of the last 4 games. And he's returned 6 times value in each of the last 4 games.
You know who else could be really sneaky tomorrow if you really want to go value? Is Al Jefferson.
I don't know.
It's
I don't think
tough.
his profile is an Al Jefferson game. I don't see him as the guy getting up and down the court.
I think he gets his 15 minutes tomorrow, and going up against backups. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a points per minutes machine right now, man.
I think I stay away again on DraftKings. I would rather go Montrezl Harrell.
Okay. Well, on FanDuel, obviously you can't, but.
Oh right, so FanDuel.
I'm telling you, that's my punt play.
If I'm going to center punt on FanDuel, I don't know if there is one, to be honest with you. I guess I would go, or I guess Monty Eunice is in the center. Maybe Nogueira.
He'll go up against Biombo, though, right?
He'd be playing the power forward minutes.
Yeah, but with Patterson and Pascal and Sellinger, I don't see that happening.
He's still getting his 24 minutes, I think.
At power forward, though? I think he plays more center now with.
Either way, he's a bigger part of the rotation than he has been.
Yeah.
And he's put up some solid lines in the past 3 with them back.
I just my punt play at center tomorrow is Al Jefferson. If you want to go stars everywhere else, Al Jefferson I think is a definitely in consideration for a punt play. Okay, what about Jonas against Vucevic? I like that.
I don't know if I think I don't know if how much I like that, to be honest with you.
Okay, if DeRozan doesn't play,
No, I see the argument there. I don't know where he comes into my rankings tomorrow.
oh shit, Sullinger got dropped to the D League. I did not know that. Good catch.
That's interesting.
I like Jonas against Vucevic tomorrow. I do a lot, especially if DeRozan's out.
I don't know. I don't know. I just not feeling this game. I really am not.
I will say that Orlando's been terrible recently, so blowout is in effect, and Jonas is always the first person to leave the court in a blowout.
Yeah, he does seem to be that guy, doesn't he?
But
I might rather play Gortat than Valanciunas. Either way, I don't think I'd play either. I think I'm looking at Turner, Plumlee, and I mean, there's plenty of options on DraftKings, but I can go Drummond or even I could go Noel.
okay. Robin Lopez against Philly.
I didn't really look at Robin Lopez either, to be honest with you. It could work out for you. You know, he has potential to get you to 30 points, 30 FanDuel points, I think. Really not a lot to love.
I still think my favorite center play is Miles Turner.
Again, I think you can't go wrong with Indiana tomorrow.
I think they have to play up in pace to match Houston.
Yeah, there's going to be some extra possessions, and all 3 of the Turner and Teague and George have all been playing well as of late.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's talk real quick about cash and GPP, what you're looking for.
So I evaluate the players. So in cash games, I evaluate all the players based on their floor.
Yes.
You know, everybody has got to provide a safe floor in cash games. For example, you know, you need minutes to have a safe floor. If somebody is up and down in minutes, generally they're up and down in fantasy production as well. So, like for example, today I thought Andre Iguodala was a safe cash game punt because
it's minutes.
He gets his minutes, right. And he doesn't really provide much fantasy production, but he's shown that he gets you with given 24 to 30 minutes, he can get you 5 times value. But I would never play him in a tournament.
And see, that's what I was saying with Evan Turner, is I look at Evan Turner's production, and literally over his last 8 games, 16 to 20 points, exceeding 20 points 2 times. That to me is a safe floor. That would qualify as cash.
And if he's starting, he's more of a cash game play because he's going to get his minutes.
Exactly.
For tournaments, I'm looking for guys that can get me, that have the potential to go off, and guys that I've seen go off. You know, like, who would be a good tournament play? Like Brandon Jennings, for example. We've seen that he can get 40 to 50 fantasy points given the minutes. But he could also, you know, be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So you really wouldn't want to play him.
Cash.
He's really more of a tournament play. Same with like I don't know. I'm evaluating Jimmy Butler as a tournament play that I like tomorrow because given his price at 8,900 or 8,800 on DraftKings, I think he provides somewhat of a safe floor. And he has the potential to really exceed value as well.
The high upside. And I think the other thing that's huge in a GPP is you have to look at guys that other people aren't on that you think can exceed value. So I don't have ownership projections. I really don't. It's more of a gut feeling for me. Like when I think of it, right, just based on how I see tendencies and people are very persuaded, I guess you can say. People are very influenced based on recent history. So with that said, James Harden having the amazing game he had last game, my gut tells me that he will be very high owned tomorrow relative to other players. So that makes me think that someone like Kevin Durant is almost a better tournament play because I think he'll be lower owned, has a similar, not similar, I think James Harden obviously has a higher ceiling, but when you are playing a tournament, you want guys that are going to separate you from the pack, not carry you with the cash line.
Yeah, so use today as an example. I mean, in tournaments, if you played Steph Curry over Isaiah Thomas, you did better. You know, Isaiah Thomas had 55 DraftKings points, and Steph Curry had like 60. They were about the same price. Or Thomas was $1,000 more, I believe, on FanDuel, and he garnered more ownership. So even though they gave you just about the same production, you were able to save some salary and get it at less ownership by taking Curry.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's one of the things I provide with these sheets, by the way, is I have a floor projection and a ceiling projection. And you'll notice when I run the optimal lineups, very different people return on a cash or a floor optimal because you're looking, like I said, and like Mike said, for a safer floor. You want a higher floor when you're looking at a cash game because you want safer plays. In GPPs, you're not looking to make the cash line, right? That's not where the money is. If you're looking to just make the cash line, you play a double up, right? You're looking to either go all the way or bust completely, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it comes down to value a lot of times too on both formats, especially lately for what Harden and Westbrook have been doing and how much ownership they've been garnering in cash formats. So you really want to look at what cheap guys are getting the most minutes. I think fantasy production somewhat goes out the window when you're looking at your value plays. You're just looking at people that are guaranteed to get minutes. That's why Noel has been so high owned. That's why Norman Powell has been so high owned because their minutes have been guaranteed to them almost. Yeah. And for what they can do based on a point per minute basis in comparison to their price, it's something you have to have.
By the way, Mike, shout out to you. Someone just mentioned that without your pre-lock show today, he wouldn't have been on Curry. So
tune into that pre-lock show. I changed my lineup to Curry too because we saw him. I think it was like 6 minutes before lock. He said that he was
playing.
Probable. No, It wasn't even playing. He was probable to play. So I was like, look, dude, guys, if you're playing tournaments, look at him. I mean, he's going to get super high owned.
Super low owned.
Low owned, sorry.
Yeah, and so to get on that and to hear his pre-lock show, it's that business page at the very, very top, the Fantasy Phenom. All the links are in the description as well. So if you need that, look for those. I have the sheets. The very first link is the Google Sheets, and then right after that is the Facebook group discussion, which is another amazing site you need to be in. Definitely need to be in that. And then after that is the business page and the Twitter. The business page is the one where Mike does his pre-lock show. And remember, those of you that like it, make sure you follow the page, not just like it. Because when you like it, you don't get the notifications when Mike goes live.
Yeah, you got to tune in for that. I'm not gonna. I called Curry. I called Drummond today too.
Yeah,
The
Drummond was an
Jackson
amazing
Drum.
play.
Yeah, the Jackson Drum. Everyone was hating on me for Reggie Jackson, and he came back and hit value. Yeah, so I just kind of, in a nutshell, bring you what I've been looking at all day because I spend most of my day looking at my cash lineup, and then I already kind of know who's a good tournament play, and I just kind of mess around until I get a lineup that looks the best. But I'm just trying to evaluate from a cash perspective what is the best guy at each position, as far as their safest floor, safest matchup, safest bet.
The great thing about the pregame show that you do is this show is obviously done the night before, right? Like we don't have a lot of the injury news out. And when it gets to that time 30 minutes before lock, there is a ton of news that has come out. And so if you're basing your pick solely off of the show we do tonight, you could be missing a lot of key news and a lot of key value that Mike opens up to you guys.
Yeah, it's extremely important to pivot off these injuries if you're playing cash games because, when you look at these double ups, half the people in your double ups are sharks, so they are going to pivot, and if you don't, you're going to fall out of the line. So you got to be on the pivots, the injury pivots. It's different for tournaments, obviously, but with the ownership and cash with these injury pivots, it's like you just have to do it.
Yeah. So. All right, guys. Well, yeah, like always, make sure you join these pages if you haven't already. Again, the Facebook business page. All the links are in the description. We're working on getting another Instagram page set up. So that is in the works. Hopefully have that up in another couple days, maybe even the next couple days. Again, DraftKings projections, I will have those out tonight. Optimizer will come soon, and pricing will come soon. And what else am I missing? That Google Sheets discussion is coming as well. So with that, I mentioned it'll basically be a tab to the left. It'll say, GPP play, cash play, player over 9K, player between 7 and 8.9K, just price ranges. And what you'll do is at the top, there'll be a slot, and just each slot will be, your name. So it'll be Kyle, Mike, and then all you guys get to go in there and add your name. And what it'll do is it'll provide, everyone the opportunity that has access to that sheet to see who is picking who, right? And again, it's just purely just more information, like who's on who, give you an idea of who's chalk. And then on top of that, if you're in the Facebook group, you see the person, right? So when you see Kyle N, you know that that's me. And then you can go to me and be like, yo, Kyle, why are you high on this guy? I haven't been thinking about him all day. Right? And so then you can go to that person and be like, why, you can ask for their opinion on it.
Yeah, just another tool so you guys can chop it up with each other. And, this is awesome that everybody is so involved and your voices are all heard. I hear them. It influences what I do and with my lineups too. It's just, it's really cool to get to know what people's tendencies are. And, I'm really having fun with it. I know you guys are too. So if you're new to the show, just check it out. I know you'll be happy with what you see. And like Kyle was saying, I'm going to get on Twitter. I'm going to start posting, injury news and the Vegas lines and all of the contest results and everything like that. We're going to be more involved on all the social media sites. So make sure to find us on Twitter and do that as well. And speaking of which, I'm going to announce the winners. I forgot to do that last night. My apologies to those who won last night. So on DraftKings, Rayshawn_B took down the Money Melee with a score of 305.75. Shout out to you. You edged me out. I was bummed. I thought I was going to take it down again. But yeah, shout out to you. Obviously, really nice call with some of your plays. And then the winner on FanDuel was Lucky_Specialist. He's a
repeat, man.
He's a repeat. Definitely always in the top 5 or near it. So Yeah, we got some good players in here, so congrats to you guys, and look for those power rankings on Monday.
Yeah, buddy. And then also, guys, just one more thing. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Again, it helps us a ton just getting exposure out there. The more thumbs up, the more recommendations and exposure we get. So let us know. Again, I'm working on getting the projections, like the live scoring, so you guys will see. I'll have a running tab for you of what my projections were and what the actual scores were, so it'll let you compare. So that'll be another tool to use. Don't hold it against me. Don't come at me and be like, yo, Kyle, your projections fucking suck. But
Yeah, I think it's something that's somewhat necessary too, just to follow trends so we can continually refine, the process.
yeah, but what it'll do is it'll allow you to, my biggest thing for it is what it's going to do is allow me to see variance, right? And volatility. So I see that consistently this guy is not hitting projections, and what it's doing is he's either way below it or way above it. So I may discredit the projection completely for that person, right? Like,
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
that's how I kind of am looking at it from, and again, I don't have him yet, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
I got you.
So definitely look out for all this stuff we got coming out. Again, me and Mike, and a bunch of other guys. I got to give shout outs here to Josh, both Joshes, Josh Sands, Josh Tannery. Special shout out to Josh Tannery, man. He is actually in Houston, and that's obviously where the Super Bowl is hosted. Mike made up some flyers and some postcards, and Josh is actually going to go to the Super Bowl, not to the game, and he's going to hand out flyers for us to try and get the word out there. So, I mean, that is amazing. Like, the amount of support we've had from all you guys is amazing. And we're not here without you guys. So, you guys are all part of this team. And I'm extremely humbled and thankful. And I know Mike is too. Again, there's no money coming in for us yet. Obviously the subscriptions are going to start in February. But they're really cheap, and it's just to cover the website costs and hopefully get me out of Target. So
yeah, no, the end goal is to improve this for all of us. To create a community that we've already started building, that you guys have helped build, and we're just going to keep building this community. Everyone's voice is going to be heard. Everyone's going to have a purpose in this community, and we're just trying to build a platform to make it all happen. And so that takes time, and unfortunately it takes money as well. But it's easy to do, in my opinion. I think it's easy for Kyle too to grind, because this is so much fun. I couldn't think of anything better to do in my free time, to be honest.
Yeah, we love this, man. We love this. This isn't even a job to us. This is honestly fun talking to you guys, and our entire goal of this is to create the community. Again, we're not sitting here trying to make. I'm not trying to be rich off this. I don't want to be a millionaire off this. I just want to. My goal is to get this into a giant community, and again, that's the goal. I put my personal Facebook page out there, so you guys see that I'm real. Mike puts his personal page out there. We are 100% real. And we're gonna play the picks we tell you guys. So we're not sitting here, just bullshitting you guys. We want to make the average person that's playing DFS better. The guy that doesn't have time to sit in front of his computer all day like these sharks do.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, everything that's out there right now, is literally just like one person or a few people getting together and telling everybody who their favorite plays are. Our goal is to create a community of hundreds and thousands of people to bring to the table their insight, and from that we can make a best decision. I mean, I'd rather have all of you guys coming up with research than following like a few so-called experts and what they think.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the goal of the Google sheet, right? Is everyone will have an opinion on who their GPP play is, their cash play is, and it's 100% up to you. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to listen to it. By buy it, I mean buy into their opinion. you don't have to listen to it. It's just another tool out there to see whether people are on said player, right? Like you can kind of get a decision on is this player going to be chalky or not. So,
Right. I'm just want to address some of these comments. I know we're kind of ranting right now, but yeah. So tomorrow I do work, so I'm not going to be able to do a show before the early slate. I am able to do the show before. I don't think I'll be able to do a show before the late slate either because it starts at 6, and that's the time I get off work. So
maybe I'll hop on it. Maybe I'll hop on and do the pre-lock show.
So unfortunately, no pre-lock show from me. If Kyle can get it done, that's awesome. But I just wanted to make sure that people aren't out there looking for it. But again, you can message me on Facebook or reach out to me on Twitter, and I'll be happy to share with you my opinions coming down the stretch there tomorrow. But as far as early slate, we mentioned it earlier. There's really no skill involved. I think on a 2-game slate, it's just. I think you just kind of pick players and.
By the way,
a lot of money in it.
If you're ever gonna run an optimal verbatim, it's the 2-game slates to do it. Those seem to have the highest success rate. So
I see that.
I'm not saying don't hold me to it. Like I'm not guaranteeing it's gonna cash, but if you want the best odds, from what I've seen, they have the best success. So awesome, guys.
Wow.
Thank you again for tuning in. As always, it's a pleasure. So I look forward. The sheets are going to come out a little later. Definitely going to come out a little later tonight. I'm still working on those DraftKings projections, as I said. My man crush is out 6 to 8 weeks. I love it, man. I love it. So, like I said, projections are coming. We'll get there, and then the sheets will come out probably in the next 3 to 4 hours. I'll be up late doing these tonight. So, thank you guys again for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Later.